Good morning everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be doing a wrap up of 2024 and a planning slash prepping for 2025, which is so exciting. Also crazy that 2024 is nearly over, but more so I'm so excited for 2025, and I'm going to split this video into two parts. The first part will be my wrap up of 2024 and the second part will be planning for 2025. And hi, if you're new here, I am Amin. I speak about my writing journey, and this includes writing, reading, painting, and anything else related to the project that I am working on at the time. I'm currently working on my first ever manuscript, which is a fantasy novel, and that is what a large focus of 2025 will be on. Other than that, let's get into it. So to start off with, I actually want to go over my top 3 wins of 2024. The first one is being that I actually started to write again, and this has been a long journey, a long time coming, because I haven't written for many years, and this actually started with me wanting to kind of come back to some hobbies that I really enjoyed. And it started off with sketching and painting earlier on in the year, I would say around springtime. Then I began reading fiction more towards the end of summer, beginning of autumn. And then when autumn really hit, I found that I actually didn't really want to paint anymore. I wanted a different kind of hobby. That ended up being writing. I think because I had started reading around that time as well, it rekindled my joy for the craft of writing. And so I started a newsletter, which I don't actually do anymore, but I did start a newsletter. I started writing kind of bits and pieces on my own that were a bit random. And then I would say towards October time was when I actually discovered AuthorTube, specifically Brielle Writes, and from there I just went down an amazing rabbit hole of the AuthorTube community, writing again, and it rekindled something in me that I forgot I had lost. And then I started writing. I did a whole bunch of courses, and I discovered an idea that I wanted to write for a book, and I just thought, why the hell not? Let's try and write a manuscript. This has led to me writing again and it becoming a huge part of my day, my weeks, in a way that I forgot that you could have so much joy from a hobby. I'm so glad that I started writing again. I'm so excited to continue, and that has to be the biggest win of 2024. The second win of the year is discovering a project that I really enjoy and that I'm actually currently in the depths of. So this is Project Emerald, which is my first ever manuscript. It is a fantasy novel, and I'm currently in the brainstorming outlining phase of it. And to have discovered a project that I'm so excited for is amazing. It's a huge win of 2024, and I'm definitely going to be bringing it into 2025. In fact, a huge part of my 2025 goals is going to be aligned to this particular project. It's been wonderful. It's been exciting. It's been a bit scary because I realized how much I don't know and how much I've had to learn already, and let alone how much I'll learn later on. But it's also so exciting to have something that is just for you, that is a project that you're working on because you enjoy it. So that has definitely been a huge win of this year. I would have to say my third win of 2024 is actually figuring out ways to write on days when I have low energy. This is something I've discovered quite recently because my day job has been very demanding, very draining. So I haven't had as much energy as I used to in terms of writing when I first started, because I haven't had as much time or energy to kind of go to a cafe or go out and about to write. So finding ways to write in the house that is cozy and makes me feel excited for the project has been so important. And I did do a video about this specifically, so do check that out if you want more tips on that. But this has been a huge accomplishment for me because it means that I can really integrate writing into my days and weeks without feeling drained from it, and just maintaining the excitement of the project rather than feeling like I have to wait multiple days before I can get back into it. So that has been a huge win that I've discovered, and I'm so excited to bring it more into 2025. The next topic that I want to talk about is things that I've learned. So these are my top 3 things that I've learned so far in my writing journey. The first one is how much you can get done in 25 minutes. This is specifically pertaining to writing sprints. I was initially someone who thought that I needed to block out multiple hours to write and work on this project in order to progress and accomplish what I wanted. However, that quickly became too much pressure. extremely draining, and also I don't think you can concentrate for that long, even with breaks in between. I think to do something so creative, there's a limit to how much you can do in one go. So joining live writing sprints and even watching replays has been a huge change for me, but that has been something huge that I've learned. The second thing I've learned is actually how to use Scrivener. I was looking for something to put all my writing documents in. I was kind of all over the place, and a lot of people had mentioned Scrivener. They ended up having a sale, and I bought the app. I also then did a masterclass, and I have loved using it every second that I have. It feels great to take the mess out of my head and put it into something organized, which is exactly what Scrivener has provided me with. I've loved it. I'm so excited to continue using it, especially when I start actually writing my first draft. So that has been a huge thing for me to learn. The third thing that I've enjoyed learning is actually something that I've recently come across, which is the 27 chapter structure. And I will also be having a video on this coming out soon, so make sure to look out for that. But essentially, discovering the 27 chapter structure has made it so much easier for me to plot my book and to figure out what's going on, where things should happen, and just give me an organized way to figure out what's going on in the book without feeling like I'm kind of going all over the place. And next things that I want to talk about is actually the top 3 things that I want to work on in 2025. So the first thing is to not put so much pressure and stress on myself. And this relates to a few things. Firstly, as I mentioned before, I initially kind of would time block multiple hours to work on this project, and that was too much pressure. And learning to alleviate that pressure, to work in shorter sprints and to enjoy it more has been a huge help. Another aspect of this is actually when I do have a draining day or a week, or I want to socialize and I don't want to work on the project, or I don't have time to work on the project, to not put so much pressure on myself to then still work on it even when I don't have the energy for it, and to just allow myself to kind of ebb and flow with the week or the month that I'm in, and allow this to stay as a passion of mine and something I enjoy rather than something that I have to schedule in or feel stressed out to do. So that is definitely something I want to work on more in 2025. The second thing that I want to work on is actually consistent writing. This is a mixture of the things that I've learned so far in terms of how to write on low energy days and how to bring it into my day and week more consistently. I'm still figuring it out. I'm still trying to understand what days work best for me to write, what days don't work. On the days that I don't want to write, what other things I can do, such as listening to podcasts or reading, and just other ways that I can bring this into my day-to-day and my week. So that is something that I definitely want to work on more in 2025. I think that is it for the wrap up portion of this video. We're now going to get into the planning side of it, which is obviously going to lead on from the things that I've just spoken about. The first thing that I want to do with planning 2025 is actually look at a timeline. Now, I did a very initial timeline back in, I think, October time, and a lot of things have changed since then. How do I screen record on my laptop? Oh. So let's look at the timeline that I initially made back in October. So this started off with courses that I was working on, and this was a mixture of Readsy and Skillshare courses, which I did. And during this phase of October time, I also looked at some ideas for my first novel and just brainstorming a little bit. I then looked at some next steps that I wanted to work on, and from here I began researching and brainstorming. I did end up doing another next step segment just because I was a bit all over the place and I wanted to come back and figure out what I wanted to do next. Initially, I planned to do research until the end of December, and I wanted to brainstorm from November till the end of Jan. I then had planned to plot the book in February and do the outline in March and April. This is actually all changed now. I am not completely, but brainstorming I'm still going to do till the end of Jan. However, plotting the book and outlining are kind of one and the same. I've realized I'm going to do those at the same time that I'm brainstorming, so that is going to be until the end of Jan. So I'll be brainstorming, plotting the book, and outlining, detailed outlining, using the 27 chapter structure in this phase, so in January. And after that, I had initially planned to start draft 0 in May until the end of July. I thought draft 0 would essentially be a more detailed outline, bullet points, and scene ideas. However, that is going to be what I do during the outlining stage in January. And so during this, I'm still going to call it draft 0 simply because it feels like less pressure to call it draft 0. And I feel like I need that for my first ever manuscript because I don't really know what's going to come out of it. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't really know what's going on in terms of writing your first ever manuscript. So I'm still going to keep it that name. However, I will be actually writing through the entire manuscript with whatever ideas and things that come to me, dialogue, and obviously using the outline that I will be creating in January. Also, during this time, I actually want to give myself a good amount of time to ensure that if there is a course that I want to work on during this time, I can pause writing, do the course, and then come back to writing. So I want to make sure that I have time to do courses. Initially, because it is my first draft of the manuscript, I want to ensure that I have time to, if I get to a point where there's a bit of a gap in the world building or in a character development, I can again pause the writing, do that world building or development, and then come back to write. So this will also be time to develop the world and characters, and just in general give myself that time to really write in depth so that I can write, pause, do a course, do a bit of development or brainstorming, and come back and write again, just so it's very cohesive. Now, because of this process is going to be very long, and I actually think this is going to take up most of 2025. So I'm going to move it to start in January, and I'm going to do it so it ends in September. So that is 9 months, I believe, to write the first draft in a cohesive manner where I have time to pause, do some development, do a course if I want to, and just feel very comfortable in writing that first draft from a place of ease rather than from a place of pressure. Initially, I had planned that I would do a prep for draft 1 in August and then start writing draft 1 at the end of the year. I'm now going to change this a little bit. So as I mentioned, draft 0 will be from the beginning of Feb to the end of September. I therefore want this prep for draft 1 to be pretty much from October until the end of the year. Now, during this, I actually want to do a couple of things. Firstly, I want to give time to continue writing. If I find that the end of September I still need to write some more, I want to give myself the time to do that if I need to. The second thing is any prep things that I want to do for draft 1. So this could be printing out draft 0, making a checklist, things like that. Now, I wouldn't actually be doing a reread of this draft. That will likely be in 2026, but I just want to get the basic prep of draft 1 done during this time. The third thing actually be to have a break. Now, there's two aspects to this. Firstly, to have a break from Project Emerald, and that could be working on another project, working on a short story, working on some poetry, whatever it may be, just having a break from this project. The second part would be having a break from writing in general, and I don't know how I'm going to feel until I get there, but this will just be some time to do that if I feel like I need to. So those are the three things that I will do during October, November, and December, so that when I get to the beginning of 2026, I can start doing the reread and make an even more detailed checklist, but also have an initial understanding of what I wanted to look at anyway, and then also have a break. And so that means draft 1, I will actually put, for now, I'll put it to the beginning of Jan. However, I also think this will be time to prep for draft 1 and then actually write it. Oops. So the prep will be reread and notes / revise, and then re-revise and write it essentially. So that is my plan for 2025. Now, I also actually want to do a checklist kind of. So I have this 2025 writing schedule. Now this is actually from Brielle Writes. She did a video where she planned 2025 and this was the Notion template that she used. So I will link her video and I believe she has the template to this in that video. If not, I will find the link to the template and add it in the links in my description as well. But this is essentially a bit more of a detailed writing schedule for 2025, not a timeline, but just another way to look at it. So, January, the primary task will be brainstorming, plot / outline. That will be January. February, I will be writing draft 0. Ooh. And that will be until the end of September. October, November, December will be I guess it would be finalize / prep. So that would be October, November, and December. So the supporting habits for brainstorming and plot outline are attend live streams, reading other books. I guess that's it. For February, we will have attend live stream, writing most days. I'm going to change that to writing consistently, just because I don't know if most days is actually applicable for me. So writing consistently and reading other books. I also want to, I don't use Trackbear, so I'm going to change this to writing courses. Do writing courses. And also I will change researching self-pub because that's not what I'm doing at the moment. So I will change that to, so we have attend live streams, writing consistently, reading other books, do courses, and time to brainstorm as well. So that seems like a lot of habits, but it will be fine. So we'll have that until September. So attend live streams, do courses, reading other books, or writing consistently, time to brainstorm and develop. Can I copy this? Oh, I can copy it. That's easier. And then October, November, and December, I will do attend live streams, reading other books, make a big checklist. Same here, attend live stream, reading other book, make a big checklist. And December, attend live stream, reading other books, and make a big checklist. So that is that. Now, encouragement, I will have to find something to put there. Milestones is complete brainstorming plot / outline phase, which, wow, I cannot spell today, outlining phase, which should be by the end of Jan. The next one would be actually writing draft 0, which is the majority of the year. That is the biggest goal of the year, pretty much, to just write the first draft, or write draft 0, which is technically the first draft. And the third one is actually to prep for draft 1. In terms of this publishing to-do list, I don't really have anything because I'm not looking at the moment. I haven't even written my first draft, so publishing is like not really in my mind at the moment. But yeah, I think that is it for my writing schedule for planning and prepping for 2025. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a fun year. It's going to be an exciting year. I probably will come back to this, I would say, every quarter, just to readjust if there are things that I need to adjust and change as I go along, so that I can progress without the unnecessary pressure. That is the plan for 2025. That is my wrap up for 2024. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe so that you can stay and join my journey. And other than that, I will see you in the next one. Bye.